Hello and welcome to Eyewitness Report on Channels Television. This week's edition of the program highlights the recent sea incursion into Ayetoro community in Ilaje local government area of Ondo State, and a windy rain that resulted in fatalities in 2 communities in Delta State. Details of these and more shortly. I'm Yomi Otaigbe. The rains are increasing with attendant floods causing havoc in some parts of the country. In Delta State, 2 communities in Oshimile South local government area experienced a heavy downpour and a windy storm that took the life of 7 people, alongside the destruction of properties.
A huge tree said to be about 300 years old crashes into 2 houses in the aftermath of a heavy rainstorm. The April 29 disaster is believed to be one of the worst in many years in Okpanam in Oshimile South local government area of Delta State, killing a family of 6 and leaving 5 others injured.
There was no chance and a lot of things happened. We tried to bring men out so that they can help. But my immediate cousin brother, my little brother, the wife got affected. The tree, the branch hit her leg, broke her leg, hit her head, and her hand also was broken. So we have to rush her to the hospital that night. But by then she gave up, she collapsed. But as God may have it, when we get to the hospital, they were able to revive her back. She lost blood and they gave her 2 pints of blood to survive. So when I came back, I find out that the young man there is my age mate and my very good friend, a nice guy. He lost the wife, lost the 2 children, the first daughter, the child, that's the grandchild, then the mother. That's about 6 persons died in that family.
We are in a mourning situation. Actually, you see all of us, we are wearing sad faces. So, and that is what is going on. We are not happy because this is the first time the whole of our community as in Oko, because Oko we have about 6 villages. This is the first time it's happening. And that's why we are not happy, because we never expected such a thing to happen. The most saddening thing is that the thing did not even occur at night while they were sleeping. It occurred just to 6 when that breeze was blowing. So just entered inside. So when they entered inside, the thing suddenly fell down and killed everybody inside. It's a tragedy as far as we are concerned. Because when some of us got information, but very sad. But myself is the people that this thing happened to, is my family itself. So we have been able to sit down, we sat down, we have taken some decisions.
A closer look at the fallen tree indicates it was already losing its grip to the earth after the flood that ravaged this community in 2022.
In the Oko Oasis, we lost 6 persons because the breeze, the wind, was actually a storm. Fell a building that also around some trees, and the collapsed structure at the end of the day led to the death of 6 persons. One other person is critically injured and is being attended to at the Asaba Specialist Hospital. 5 others were already in a stable condition, but they sustained some level of injuries. And it is something that is quite disturbing. And we pray that God will grant their families the strength to be able to bear that loss, even as we also ask Almighty God to comfort us as a state.
The Delta State government has since cleared the debris from the fallen tree. Others suspected of causing danger to the environment are also being cut down. Whereas Okpanam community witnessed a devastating rainstorm, its neighbor, Okpanam, battled with flood that damaged property and infrastructure and even eroded land. All these are not to be compared to the loss of human life. A 10-year-old boy identified as Divine Osemene was reportedly drowned in the flood after falling into a drain under construction. Still in shock, his father narrates how the tragic incident occurred. His body was traced to the Anwai River 2 days after.
I was here.
So you were here and your dad was here?
Yes. I was here when I came out. I was here and I heard screaming. Divine. When I came in, I saw them standing there screaming. I ran to meet them. This was where I met. When the rain met me, wobbling their mouth. Let's go. His slippers, he wore, slept up from here. He now changed his slippers. Because of the wave, the water, he got here. The thing carried him away into this ditch here, into this gutter here. Have you seen it? This was where my son landed himself and he entered here. And that was all. Look at the position that Delta, look at the job that Delta State government is doing. Look at all. Look at. Over there is the Federal Estate. Does this job look like an ongoing project to be said with you? Let Nigerians decide. Let Deltas know. Does this job look like an ongoing project? Delta State government. Look at the gully. Look at the gully. Have you seen it? How can a child survive this trauma? Even an adult cannot survive it. Even an adult cannot survive it. The water do come from here and from here. The gutters there are uncovered. That place is uncovered. Look at what they abandoned. Have you seen it? There, look at uncovered project there, gutter there. Here uncovered. Look at. This is where I saw my child floating. This particular spot. This is one of the things that we use. Good Samaritans, these two sticks here, and that one there on the ground there, will now help me. So people that knows how to swim now entered and brought him out.
Back at home, the Emekes could hardly control their emotions as they provide more details on their dead son.
When I heard what they said on air, I was like, why is it like that? They said they deploy whatever to go and search for my child, which they did not. It was just friends, well-wishers. One Mr. Fidelis from that area, the head of the landlord from that Shadrach estate, that area, and one of my father in my office, Onorogu, Dr. Austin Akbede, and friends, other friends, my people from my office, they all went to search for my child. My pain here is that the state government, they did not show concern. They did not show concern at all. This thing happened since on 19th of April. Up till now, I have not heard a word from Delta State. None of them. None of them.
And they are there wobbling.
None of them. The only thing I heard is that
wobbling their tongue.
Commissioner for Information and SSG are saying whatever on air. I don't know. I don't even know where they got what they're saying from. I did not see anybody. Nobody sent a message to us. Nobody visited us. Nobody cares about us. Why? My question is, why?
There's no amount of money they will pay that will bring back my child. They should go and do that project. Another person may be a victim again. Another child may be a victim, might be a victim. Somebody, I don't know who will be the next victim, to be specific. My child is 10 years. By October 17 this year, he will be 11 years. Divine. My namesake. What's the better? Primary 5. She was to write Primary 6 examination this year. And Delta State government, out of their gross negligence, took the life of my child. Out of gross negligence, a project abandoned by Delta State government.
That drain has been there and they have been working. Nobody fell into it before the rain. The rain came, and what happened is that it's not as if the rain all of a sudden swept off the child while he was walking on the road. Their slippers fell. In an attempt to fall on the slipper that is already being swept off by the flood water. The child, 10-year-old, you could imagine also his level of reasoning, was swept up by this flood. It's most unfortunate, and it's not something we wished for anybody. And that's why we'll continue to sympathize and, of course, commiserate with the family. And then as at 12 midnight up to 1 a.m. on that said day, the secretary to the government of the state, the number one appointee of the governor, then the number one appointee of the governor that is saddled with responsibility of disaster, the commissioner on special duties, were with them in that environment. Trying to work, of course, it's in the night. It happened at 6:30. The information got to us as late as 8 p.m. You were not expecting that we're going to get a civil servant or anybody at work at that time to begin to work. So we must also appreciate their neighbors that came handy. And so for them to say that government didn't do anything with respect to people to recovery, it's not the truth. But that at the end of the day, we must appreciate their neighbors who, being their brother's keeper, helped to extend the search so that the next day they were able to discover the child in the Anwan River. So if maybe because they were waiting, that because they did not see the governor in that place being involved in the search, that means the government was not involved in the coordination. That is not the way it is. But we can't begin to join issues for people who are bereaved. And that is why we want to sympathize with them. And we are also taking steps to fast track the completion of that project. But would anybody say that constructing drain to channel water into the river is a wrong thing? Will anybody say that the moment you excavate today, that you must also cast today and cover today? It's just an unfortunate thing. We also want parents, as it were, in that kind of corridor, to be also become much more responsive to the fact that there are certain ages, particularly now that the rain is here, that should be moving at that time of the day, 6:30, and when it's raining. Because when you leave people at that age, imagine if you were to be an adult of maybe 20-something years, the adult would have known that, number one, even if the slippers goes, that the intensity of the flood is not the one that you want to attempt. So we must look at that, but we can't begin to bring that into and to begin to discuss it when a soul is lost and somebody who would have grown up to become much more, important to the state. So we continue to sympathize with the parents, we continue to condole them, but urge parents to please, while we continue to work to address the flood challenge in that particular area, that they should be careful now that the rain is here. We cannot stop work because the rain is here.
Like the Emekes, residents of Okpanam community are hoping that the drainage project will be completed as soon as possible to prevent a recurrence of a destructive flood.
Our intention on this program is to report activities in your neighborhood from the eyewitness perspective. You can be a part of the program by using your mobile devices to capture what's happening around you and then follow the instructions to upload the pictures and videos on the eyewitness section of the Channels TV mobile app. The app can be downloaded from online stores. Providing your contact will enable us to reach out to you as we follow up to develop your story. Our attention will shift to Ondo State after the break. Welcome back. In Ondo State, the coastal community of Ayetoro is known as a floating city for its marine businesses with commercial fishing services and water transportation. Sadly, sea incursion has become a constant occurrence, threatening the existence of the community. The latest incident destroyed properties and rendered many homeless. Channels Television follows up on an eyewitness video to report the situation with details from more eyewitnesses.
Many houses have been destroyed.
A rare eyewitness video shows the moment a sea overran its bank into Ayetoro, a community lying on the shores of the Atlantic Ocean in Ilaje local government area of Ondo State.
This is sardonic. We are calling on the relevant agency to please rescue this community. Ayetoro must not go into extinction. Many people are relocating. These are houses destroyed this afternoon by the turbulent and ravaging sea surge.
For now, the surge has retreated. It could return anytime, unannounced. Sea incursion is not new to this coastal community. Many residents have fled the area as a result of the disaster, which has become an annual occurrence.
I say I dey here, so not here, not be my house. Just scatter my house. It's my friend. My friend now help me. Come stay here. Say me can come stay here. Me a manager. As I dey here, so I not see anything. When I feel say this one na my property. See, don't carry everything go.
Our properties have been destroyed. Lives are threatened on daily basis. Here and now we keep crying onto the government to come to our rescue and our aid. Up to today, we have not seen a concrete or reasonable move to show that they are ready to salvage this land. What happens if money that is being exploited here is, used back here to develop our land?
Ayetoro is one of the goods that is laying the golden egg for this whole nation. We are in the Niger Delta. Oil exploration and exploitation is taking place onshore and offshore in our area here. So that is where they are getting their generated revenue from. So and we are taxpayers and good citizens of Nigeria. Why can't they come to our aid? Do they want us to go into extinction? Why are we being abandoned as if we are not citizens of this country? That is what is making us angry now.
A peaceful protest is just a way of drawing the attention of the authorities to their predicament.
More than 500 houses have been destroyed, including schools and small-scale factories. They have been permanently eroded by the sea incursion. And the situation we find ourselves now, it is harrowing and, let me say, excruciating. So we are appealing to the federal government. We are appealing to the Ministry of Humanitarian and Disaster Management to come to our rescue. We are appealing to Ondo State Oil Producing Area Development Commission, Osopadek, ditto NDDC, Niger Delta Development Commission, to quickly come to our rescue so that this glorious community will not become a thing of history.
In the aftermath of the recent incursion, a delegation from the Niger Delta Development Commission, the NDDC, visits to assess its impact on the community. A meeting with leaders of Ayetoro community provided an opportunity for the NDDC team to get more details on the incursion.
Sea encroachment started in the 90s, and our people made a lot of efforts to reach out to government at various levels. By 2003, when it was getting closer, it was eating average of 50 meters in a year. We were measuring it. We figured that if we do not take action on time, that it will get to where buildings are. So we started to reach out and contracts were awarded 2 times. One in 2003, nothing happened. The second one was in 2009. Those ones, they brought some equipment. They brought something they call geotube that they felt that would stop the wave. We told them as residents who have interacting with the sea that the sea we have here and the soil texture here we have here, the geotube will not work. But they said that is what they have. They put their geotube. After a week, the sea busted and threw everything up. And since then, they said they wanted sand, they could not get sand. Until the sea got so close and it started destroying houses. We have lost 2/3 of the houses in Ayetoro. People, this other side that we call new site is where we have little land. So on daily basis, as people are losing their houses, people are just removing what they could salvage, because the sea, when it rises, it could be as high as 6 to 7 feet. And it will smash against the building, then it drags everything in the building. Thank God for the fact that all of us here, we can swim. We just grew up to discover that we all can swim. It would have we would have recorded so many casualties. I think we only recorded a baby who was too young, and it came at night before the mother could it came and actually dragged the foam, the mattress and everything into the sea. So, and since then we've been crying, we've been making a lot of effort. Government at all levels have been here. There is no body of government that's responsible for ecosystem, ecology, environment, Senate, House. There is none of them that has not been here. But they come, they pity our condition, they make promises, and they go. One thing that they made us to understand is that it's a gigantic project.
And on behalf of the Ministry of Niger Delta.
As an immediate intervention, the NDDC hands over foodstuffs and household materials to the community leaders, who would then distribute them to victims of the ocean surge. The NDDC Director of Projects says the Commission is exploring ways of deploying technology to tackle the problem.
Ayetoro as a community, as you can see, is robust. They have an extremely good ideology and philosophy. But what they need to do is to calm down the monster beyond. We believe that we can employ and adopt technologies that can help reduce these problems they have. And we'll continue to do that across the Niger Delta, looking for ways and means to change the narrative, especially of communities like this. You can see people down here, you can see they need living quarters, they need protection against the natural elements, they need jobs, as you can see. There's so much here, so much to infuse into this community, to bring it closer into the 21st century as every other community should be.
The project is not such that the state government will have the ability to fund. As at that period, we are talking about no less than 30 billion. As at 2019, 30 billion or thereabout. But now, it will go to not less than 100 billion. In the neighborhood of that or more. The one that is coming, the monthly ecological fund, being remitted to the state, is just a patronage sum, and we are using that for other ecological challenges. We look at all our environment here and there in the northern central district, in central and the southern central districts, where such fund could. In fact, we have a manager
we have a contractor helping us to under Operation Flush Flood. But we are praying and we are hopeful that as soon as this current government hands over to the incoming one, that succor will definitely come our way through the president-elect and other members of the cabinet who will show us mercy.
Residents and leaders of Ayetoro community vow to continue deploying every means of communication to call on government and organizations until a solution is put in place.
That's where we draw the curtains on this episode of the program. Thank you for watching. See you again same time next week. I'm Yomi Otaigi.